Eventbrite seems like a pretty solid company, especially at the price point that it's trading. If we look at 5 years ago, the stock was trading at $24 back in March 2021, and today it's at $3.60. So right off the bat, the market cap is 350 million and their revenues are 336 million. That's very interesting. It shows that the company, in my opinion, is super undervalued, but we have to really look at their financial statements to determine the financial health of this company and where it's really going. So if we look at their income statement and we look at quarterly, you could see that revenues were increasing, which is a really good sign, but the last quarter they actually decreased in their revenues year over year. So they are very profitable. Their gross profit is actually super high. It's in 60s, 70s range. And they do have a lot of SG&A and research and development. But as you can see, their operating income has improved and it's trending towards profitability. If you actually look at the EBIT or EBITDA, they are actually profitable in terms of EBITDA. And as you could see in Q2 of 2024, they were actually positive in their pre-tax income, and a large part of that had to do with the fact that they make money off of interest and investment income. Um, yeah, so going down, this is also pretty important to note. They are buying back shares, and the company has authorized to repurchase another $30 million worth of shares. And that's obviously going to drive EPS to be better, right? As they buy back shares, their earnings per share will increase along with that. You have to keep in mind that if they do execute their plan on buying back shares, that's going to drive the price up even further, obviously. You can see that they're free cash flow positive, which is a really good sign. In the year 2024, right, it looks like they're free cash flow positive around 70 million dollars. Yeah, so let's take a look at their balance sheet. This is something that I kind of saw that was pretty interesting. Their balance sheet is actually very solid. They have $555 million worth of liquid cash. That includes cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments. And, like I stated previously, they are making money off of interest based on their cash and short-term investments, right? In terms of interest. So their total current assets in Q3 of 2024 is 600 million, and in total, their total assets is 800 million. Now, 174 million of that is goodwill, so it is intangible, obviously. So you just have to keep in mind that this 174 million is not liquid capital that they can take out. So looking at their total liabilities, you can see that it's 400 million. And if you compare that to their total current assets, they can easily pay down their short-term debts, which is a positive sign, right? It's not like they're going to need to take out a loan and whatnot. If you look at their total liabilities, they do have long-term debt of 240 million, but last quarter in their earnings call, they did mention that they pay down approximately 120 million dollars worth of debt. So not only does the company have a solid balance sheet, but they're paying down long-term debt, which is it can be a good sign, but not necessarily. Sometimes it's better to have debt in order to leverage that to drive marketing or hire more people, etc. Their total common equity or shareholder equity, sorry, it has actually gone down. But in the past couple quarters, it has been trending upwards, right? So in Q3 of 2023, they had 179 million, and now they're up slightly, 179 million.84. Yeah, so overall, they're buying back shares, strong balance sheet. They don't have to take out debt. They don't have to dilute shareholders. Let's take a look at their cash flow statements. So like I stated previously, they're free cash flow positive, but also their operating cash flow is also positive, right? 63 million in Q1, negative 32 million in Q2, and Q3, 54 million. So it seems like they're up 60, 70 million in terms of operating cash flow this year. If we look at their free cash flow, you can also see, right, they're profitable. Obviously, we covered that. Yeah, so let's take a look at their statistics. It's pretty interesting. Their short interest actually has gone up. So if you look at their short interest, it's 4.4 million shares, and in the previous month it was 5.7 million shares. Sorry, it's actually gone down, right? So it looks like less investors or hedge funds or whoever it may be, there's less short interest happening in the stock, which is also a pretty bullish sign, right? If the short interest went up, maybe that's a different sign, but you can see that short interest is going down. Yeah, so like I stated at the beginning of the video, they're currently at 349 million. The revenues are 336 million. They announced a TikTok deal slash partnership, right, where on TikTok users can now post their events, which will most likely drive revenue. Hopefully they'll go back to being revenue, like a growing revenue company, right? Like hopefully in the future their revenues increase and they bring in more free cash flow, and that's going to drive the stock to go up, right? Because at the end of the day, especially in this market, investors want to see that companies are making money and that they are growing, right? That's a very important point. They are growing, and right now, it may seem like they've taken a dip in terms of their revenue, but with their TikTok deal, and also there was rumors of OpenAI reaching out to Eventbrite and integrating their APIs and their offerings on their search platform that OpenAI is working on. So a lot of the news around Eventbrite seem pretty positive, and if they execute well, you could see this company back to a growth company, increasing their revenues, increasing their free cash flow, etc. I think this company is extremely undervalued. They have a solid balance sheet, they have a solid cash flow statements, and overall, like, they have very little debt. So, this is something to keep an eye out on. Put it on your watch list, obviously. I have a pretty sizable position on Eventbrite, and I do think that we could see the stock go back up to the $6 to $7 range, just, based on their financials. To finish off the video, I would highly recommend everyone go to EquityNote.io and check out this platform. I have all of my notes that I take on every stock that I am interested in or will invest in, including Eventbrite. I have a in-depth analysis on things like their income statement, balance sheet, cash flows, and some important points that I go over. It's a good way to keep track of the stocks that you want to look at. It's kind of like a watch list, but a more in-depth capability of being able to write notes and to go back to them and read them, and potentially close your position, edit your note, and open up a new one if something changes with the sentiment of the company. Equity Note is a platform where you can upload your notes and make them public so that others can see. And it also has a leaderboard capability where you can see where people rank based on the stock picks that they make. So if you're interested in trying out the platform, writing about stocks, go ahead and sign up and start creating notes.